Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for attending our virtual conference. My name is Natchak Sansakit from St. Andrew International School, Bangkok, and along with two of my colleagues, Pishayut and Pongnapat from Assumption College, Bangkok, we will be presenting today about our investigation on motivational regulations driving Thai high school students to pursue university education, according to the self-determination theory.
And this is our table of contents. We are recovering 5 main parts, which includes the self-determination theory, our hypothesis, the methodology we use in our research, the result analysis, and the conclusions and suggestions.
High schoolers, especially seniors, these days dedicate to be enrolled in university that they are aimed to. However, it is not that easy. Accomplishment can be quantified by how a person motivates himself, which related to is self-determination theory.
First and foremost, what is self-determination theory? Self-determination theory was first proposed by Daisy and Ryan. It is a concept that represents a broad framework of human motivation and personality. Why is self-determination theory so important and relevant to our everyday life? The type of motivation in self-determination that individuals identify most strongly with could reflect one's well-being and productivity. According to self-determination theory, motivation could be categorized into two main major categories, which is extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. As you can see on the diagram, the motivations are distinguished into two major types, externalized and internalized. In terms of the motivations that drive high schoolers to pursue in a certain discipline at university level, external regulations includes financial income, reputation, job security. Next is introjected regulation. This includes expectation from parents as well as social pressure. The next stage of motivation is called identification. At this stage, individuals acknowledge the importance within the field of chosen study and its relevant careers. Subsequently is integration, which is when individuals recognize that the field of study chosen is the most suitable for them. Last but not least are intrinsic motivation. This includes passion, self-satisfaction, and learning enjoyment.
And this is our hypothesis. We think that there might be a positive correlation between extrinsic, introjected, and unidentified correlation altogether. Another positive correlation might be between integrated, identified, and intrinsic motivation. On the other hand, moving to a negative correlation, we think that extrinsic and introjected would share a negative correlation with integrated and intrinsic motivation.
For the methodology of our research, we use an online survey for a reason that it would be convenient for both researcher and participant. They are much faster than to get a result and also take less time than a paper survey. Each statement in the survey will let participants rate scale 1 to 5 from strongly disagree to strongly agree with the statement. We use a voluntary response sample method so participants can choose whether they want to be participate or not. Our survey consists of 2 questions and 6 statements. The first questions will let you choose one of 4 universal degree level: medical, engineering, business, and others. Each statement represents type of motivation from extrinsic to self-efficacy. And the final question will let you choose one of the statements that explain your reason the most.
To elaborate on the participants, all participants were high schoolers, and we have obtained 342 responses in total, 75 of which belongs to engineering, science, and technology, 114 of which is medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy, 71 of which is from economics, business, and finance, and 82 of other disciplines also contributed. This is our first stage of data analysis. This is a frequency table derived from the last final question in the survey, in which participants were to choose only one motivation they identify with most. So from the data, it is noticeable that regardless of the chosen field of study, the maximum value lies within internalized motivation at approximately 4.0 to 4.5. While for all discipline, the minimum value was exhibited by interjected regulations at 2.0 to 2.5. This is a good sign, since according to self-determination theory, individuals who are internally driven are more likely to sustain learning performance and well-being throughout the course. Focusing on the scientific field, the mean value exhibited for extrinsic and self-efficacy for medicine and dentistry is shown to be relatively higher than that of engineering. This could imply that although high schoolers who want to pursue in the medical field may be slightly more driven than those who want to pursue in engineering, they also exhibit a stronger self-efficacy. The next stage of the data analysis were the correlation. The first point is that there is a positive relationship between external and interjected regulations. This corresponds to the theory of self-determination. It is important that we acknowledge the external and interjected regulations, that they are not entirely detrimental to one's health or performance, since they function as effective goals for one to be self-motivated. However, high amount of pressure and stress can potentially influence both one's physical and mental health. The second point is the positive relationship between all 3 intrinsic motivations, composing of identify, integrated, and internalized. Individuals who identify strongly with intrinsic motivations are often well aware of their own strengths and weaknesses. These individuals who acknowledge their passion will automatically be self-motivated, and thus this will maximize the learning outcomes in terms of learning efficacy, productivity, and also self-satisfactory.
Another data analysis is to know relationship between extrinsic motivation and internalized regulations, which surprisingly coordinates with the principle called ikigai. So first of all, there's no correlation between these 2 motivations, which means that they have nothing to do with each other. It is so unusual because it does not correspond to the self-determination theory, which stated that extrinsic motivations and internalized regulations should have a strong negative correlations. And according to Ikigai, the purpose of living. So basically, Ikigai is the concept of using an individual's passion and talent to be truly happy and maintain work-life balance. It's a wonderful Japanese concept that essentially means a reason for being. This is a bigger picture of how Ikigai concept really is. There are 4 opponents in order to achieve Ikigai. The first one is what you love, and the second one is what the world needs. The third one is what you are good at, and the fourth one is what you can be paid for. Whenever a person finds the intersection of these 4 opponents, that means they can find the balance between wants and needs in their life. From this information given, it can be assumed that high schoolers may be able to choose a major and still fit in, even though that major doesn't fulfill the student, for the good cause that a person can still be happy and expert on a job that they doesn't love, as long as they see the importance of the job or get well paid.
This timetable shows a percentage and ratio between externalization and internalization of each majors: business, medical, engineering, and others, which has the ratio of extrinsic and intrinsic of 1 over 3, 1 over 4, 1 over 4, and 1 over 32, respectively. Obviously, business has most participants who are driven by external factors, which it is related to Thai educate society toward high schooler. It is undeniable that students are struggling with high competition, pressure, and expectation from others, especially parents. According to the parents' belief and work experience, medical and engineering are the careers which are high-paying jobs and also play a big role in a society. In business side, parents who already have their own business expect their children to continue their legacy. On the other hand, major in others group got the highest percentage of internal motivated students due to low pressure and competition.
And these are some suggestions and implications for mainly parents and teachers. It is hypothesized that although students may find intrinsic drivers to carry on their study in these fields in some way, they may find it difficult to avoid social expectations and incentives that may attach to these mainstream degrees. In contrast, those interested in other courses, particularly in social science, concern more on their personal interests that is well aligned with the subject area. The study therefore points out some educational concerns and that potentially exist among students preparing for medicine, engineering, and business, who may require emotional support and educational support and being open-minded. In order to achieve intrinsic motivation or to some suggestions for teacher and parents to really bring the kids intrinsic motivation. First, you need to have identified motivation and integrated motivation first before reaching intrinsic motivation. So what is identified motivation? Identified motivation is the motivation that you need to identify the importance of what you are doing in certain tasks. Next one is integrated motivation. Integrated motivation basically communicates within ourselves that what are you capable of doing, and do it really correlates to what you want going to be in the future. And it's just knowing yourself is the simple words for integrated motivation. Therefore, having increase in identified motivation and increase in integrated motivation would result in a strong intrinsic motivation. This basically concludes all of our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.